It's also heating up in the Circle City because for the first time in 7 seasons, the Indianapolis Fever are heading to the playoffs.
It's just awesome to watch them, and I'm super excited to see how far they go.
My mom's 91 years old, and she's been watching every game. And when she told me, she goes, "The season's coming to an end." And then she said, "Wait, we've got the playoffs."
I came in with the expectation that this is what's going to happen. Like, for me, this isn't like a party. Like, yeah, it's great. I feel like it's a great accomplishment, but like, there's so much more left to be done. Like, yeah, we made the playoffs. There's 6 regular season games. I mean, I'm not just happy to be in the playoffs. I think we have the type of team that can win and advance, going one game at a time. So I think that's what it is for all of us, is like, yes, celebrate it, enjoy it. Like, it is really huge for this organization. Not having been to the playoffs since Tamika was here, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long time. And I think I'm definitely most happy for Kels. Like, Kels has been at this place for 7 years and, has never been to the playoffs. So she definitely deserves this moment. And obviously she's been playing really good basketball too. So she's definitely, helped us earn it.
Christy, what was your reaction late last night? And what was the group text flowing, or what was that like?
Well, we act old around here, so I think a lot of us were asleep. I just couldn't think about it. I went to sleep and woke up to a lot of fun texts this morning really early. I actually set my alarm for midnight to get up and check the score, and actually just turned it off, didn't even look. So it's made for a really exciting morning, and really happy for these guys. I mean, really happy for these players.
Kelsey, you said you've been to the bottom and you felt it. So now, given that, how much sweeter does this feel?
I'm just grateful, man. I'm here to do my work, be right by my team and the organization. That's obviously a really big step for us, but it's not enough. Clinching is always a good step, but it's more. There goes more. It's more that we want to accomplish, and it's more that out there to get. And that's what I want. I think that's what my team want too. But this is definitely a surreal moment. I'm definitely grateful from where I started, and here's to more, I guess.
I went to bed with like 5 minutes left in the fourth, but definitely was keeping a close eye throughout the game. And when we found out, I think everyone was just super excited, and it's definitely something we've been working towards. Season's not over, but just to have that kind of taken care of, it's a great feeling. It feels a lot different. I think everyone can attest to that we're just having a lot of fun out there. I think it's fun to watch. It's fun to be on the court. It's fun to be on the bench. It's just fun to be part of this team and follow along on this journey. And it's crazy to think that where we started the season, and I think there were doubts from the fans, doubts from people that didn't know where we would go for the year, and to be where we are today, we're just really proud of ourselves.
How did you react? Were you watching the end of those games to see that it became official in the moment?
Yeah, I watched the end of them, honestly. My reaction was I turned it off and I went to sleep. I didn't even check my phone until the next morning. That's kind of when I had the most messages and stuff. So definitely cool, especially like before it doesn't have to come down the wire for us. Like, I think that's special. Like, you can just really relax and play basketball and have a lot of fun. But for us, like, yeah, we accomplished that, but like, there's still so much more left on the table that we can do. We can position ourselves better. We get 6 at home to have a lot of fun. Like, these are ones that are very winnable for us. So I think just still going one game at a time that has done so well for us to get to this point, I think that should still be the focus. I think that's what it is for all of us, is like, yes, celebrate it, enjoy it. Like, it is really huge for this organization. Not having been to the playoffs since Tamika was here, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long time. And I think I'm definitely most happy for Kels. Like, Kels has been at this place for 7 years and, has never been to the playoffs. So she definitely deserves this moment. And obviously she's been playing really good basketball too. So she's definitely, helped us earn it. We're not just happy to be there. Like, we really believe and we can compete with every single team that's going to be in the playoffs. I think we have confidence in the fact that, whoever our first round matchup is, we have beat that team before. We're going to do everything we can to try to get it back here so our fans can cheer us on and have a little taste of playoff basketball as well.
Man, it's incredible. It's incredible for us to, have clinched early, use this opportunity to, work on some things over these next 6 games, continue to grow. But just, for the fans that have just been showing up night in and night out on the road too, for them to enjoy this. And to have the Fever back in the playoffs, where they were several years ago. It's just an exciting time for the Fever franchise. It's an exciting time for this young team and what the future has for these guys. I mean, that's for me, is they keep growing and the sky's the limit for these guys.
For the first time in 7 years, The Indiana Fever are headed back to the WNBA playoffs, breaking the longest active postseason drought in the league, and as expected, this has left the WNBA community buzzing with emotions. Once a dominant force in the league, the Fever had been absent from the postseason since 2016, enduring tough seasons and rebuilding efforts. But with their playoff berth now secured, fans, analysts, and players alike are sharing their thoughts on this momentous turnaround. So here's how the WNBA community has reacted to the Fever clinching a playoff spot. Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark clinch playoff spot. The Indiana Fever, led by rookie sensation Caitlin Clark, have secured their first playoff berth since 2016, breaking the longest active postseason drought in WNBA history. The Fever officially clinched a spot on Tuesday night, September 4th, despite not playing that day, thanks to losses by the Chicago Sky and Atlanta Dream. This marks a significant turnaround for the franchise, which hadn't reached the playoffs in 7 years, a stretch tied for the longest in WNBA history, alongside the Chicago Sky's early years in the league. The Fever's playoff entry was sealed when the Las Vegas Aces defeated the Sky 90-71, driven by a 30-point performance from Aja Wilson. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Dream fell 74-66 to the Phoenix Mercury, dropping both the Dream and Sky to 11-22 for the season. With the Fever holding a head-to-head tiebreaker against both teams, their playoff spot was confirmed. This achievement makes Indiana the 6th team to secure a playoff spot this season, joining the New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun, Minnesota Lynx, Seattle Storm, and the Aces. The Phoenix Mercury also punched their ticket to the playoffs, benefiting from their win over Atlanta and Chicago's loss. Now, only one playoff spot remains up for grabs in the WNBA. The Fever's success comes on the heels of a strong late-season surge. They've won 4 consecutive games, including a 193 victory over the Dallas Wings on Sunday, which improved their record to 17-16. This win marked their first time finishing above $500 since 2019. Their resurgence has been largely fueled by Caitlin Clark, who has been phenomenal in her rookie season, averaging 18.7 points, a league-leading 8.4 assists, and 5.6 rebounds per game. Clark's breakout performances have been nothing short of historic. She recently set a career high with 31 points and 12 assists in a victory over the Chicago Sky, making her the first player in WNBA history to record a 30-point, 12-assist game. On top of that, she broke the WNBA rookie record for most three-pointers, averaging 3 three-pointers per game, just behind Dallas Wings' star Arike Ogunbowale, who averages 3.1. Reflecting on Indiana's playoff berth, WNBA fans and analysts have shared their excitement and thoughts on the Fever's rise. Huge accomplishment, said commentator Jamile Hill. This team started 1-8, and while I did think her team would get better, I must admit I thought they might be doomed by such a poor start, read the playoffs. With the way they're playing, I wouldn't want to see this team in the playoffs. Sarah Horrocks praised the team's turnaround, stating, "Incredible, from worst team to the playoffs with games to spare." Similarly, podcaster Jenny Buckets added, "This is impressive, especially considering that the Fever hasn't been over 500 since 2016. Wheat Hotchkiss, the Fever's marketing director, suggested this could be the start of something bigger. The Fever made the playoffs 12 straight years from 2005-16. Feels like the start of another very long streak. The Fever's rough start to the season seems like a distant memory. After opening with a dismal 1-8 record in May, including tough losses to 4 of the 5 teams now above them in the standings, Indiana has turned things around dramatically. Caitlin Clark's leadership has been pivotal during their recent 6-1 run since returning from the Olympic break, where the team has averaged an impressive 91.1 points per game. Clark herself has been dominant, contributing 24.5 points and 9.0 assists per game during that stretch. Currently, Indiana ranks 3rd in scoring across the WNBA with an average of 83.8 points per game, trailing only the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, both of whom reached the finals last season. The Fever's offensive firepower, coupled with their newfound momentum, makes them a formidable opponent as they gear up for postseason action. Caitlin Clark's reaction to the Fever's clinching a playoff spot. Well, despite the excitement surrounding the Indiana Fever clinching their first playoff berth in 7 years, the story was different for Clark. There is a lot more on the card than just making the playoffs, and so celebrating so much for it was probably not in her lineup of priorities. For the star rookie, Making the playoffs was merely a step in what she believes should be a much larger journey. While many were celebrating the Fever's achievement, Clark's reaction was quite different. After watching the final moments of the 2 games that secured Indiana's playoff spot, Clark called it a night. "I turned off the TV and went to sleep," she said the next day. It was late, nearing midnight Eastern time, but Clark's subdued reaction wasn't just about the hour. "It's definitely a big moment for this place, but at the same time, I came in with the expectation that this is what's going to happen," she said. For Clark, the clinching of a playoff spot was important, but there was no reason to celebrate too much. "This isn't a party. Yeah, it's great, but there's so much left to be done. I'm not just happy to be in the playoffs. I feel like we have the type of team that can win in advance." This level-headedness is emblematic of Clark's approach to the game since joining the Fever as the #1 overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. Elite mentality. The team had endured a difficult start to the season, going 1-8 in May and drawing criticism from many corners. Yet, Clark never shook. "It really was difficult, but for our group, we never hung our heads," she reflected. "We were able to block out the noise, and that's allowed us to be really good. It was just a matter of when we were going to figure it out." With that mindset, the Fever turned their season around. Clark's leadership and stellar play have been central to Indiana's resurgence, which saw them win 6 of their first 7 games after the Olympic break. Her performances in August were so dominant that she earned both WNBA Rookie of the Month and Eastern Conference Player of the Month honors, with averages of 24.0 points, 8.5 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. Her head coach, Christy Sides, was also recognized as Coach of the Month. However, even with those accolades, Clark was quick to deflect attention to her teammates. She openly praised Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana's leading scorer at 19.0 points per game, for her contributions and believed Mitchell deserved the Player of the Month award. "Just what she was doing, and the clip she was doing it," Clark said, pointing out Mitchell's shooting percentages from various spots on the floor. "I feel fortunate to play with her. I'm not even trying to be corny. I think she deserved it." Clark also credited Sides for allowing her to find her groove and figure out how to make the team successful. This selflessness has helped galvanize a Fever team that had been at the bottom of the WNBA for several years. Indiana, once a perennial playoff contender with 12 postseason appearances between 2005 and 2016, had become a shadow of its former self. After winning just single-digit games in 5 of the past 7 seasons, including a 13-27 finish in 2023-24, many wondered if this would be another forgettable year for the franchise. But Clark's arrival, along with the continued development of 2023 #1 pick Aaliyah Boston, has sparked a revival. While Clark has been a focal point, the team's success has been a collective effort. Boston, averaging 9.0 rebounds per game, has been a dominant force in the paint, anchoring Indiana's defense and providing crucial second-chance opportunities on offense. The duo of Clark and Boston has given the Fever a young core that promises to be a force in the league for years to come. Reflecting on her journey so far, Clark acknowledged how much the playoff berth meant to her and the organization, particularly after the rocky start. "There weren't many moments to smile at the beginning," she admitted. "But making it through that and smiling and finding the good in every single day and just reminding myself I get to play basketball at the highest level has allowed me to be in this moment." More than just about basketball, Clark emphasized her desire to bring joy to others through her play. "To take this organization to the playoffs, that brings a lot of smiles too, for myself, but also for other people. Bring them joy, help them smile, make their day better," she said. "I feel like I was able to do that even when we were 1-8. Despite the Fever's transformation, Clark isn't resting on her laurels. She knows there's still work to be done, especially with a few more regular season games left. The Fever currently hold the #6 seed in the WNBA standings, but with their recent surge, they could potentially climb even higher. And it's not just about making the playoffs for Clark, it's about making a deep run. Indiana's recent wins over top playoff teams like the Connecticut Sun, whom they beat for the first time after losing their previous 3 meetings, show that they're capable of competing with the league's best. With Clark, Mitchell, and Boston leading the way, the Fever have all the tools to be a dangerous team in the postseason. Though it might still be a year or two before Indiana becomes a legitimate title contender, they've already proven they can punch above their weight. For a franchise that has endured so much hardship in recent years, this playoff run feels like the start of something much bigger. And with Clark's competitive fire driving the team, Indiana's future looks brighter than ever. So what do you think about the Fevers making the playoffs again after a long, long time? Let us know in the comments section below.